Ladies and gentlemen, the factory for Boston Red Sox.
To the Red Sox fans who were telling me that Bogaerts is not worth the contract that he deserves, where you at now? Where are you now? I need to hear from you people right now. Did you guys get what you wanted? Is this what you wanted? Is this really what you guys wanted? It was? I'm just gonna sit here and laugh at the fact that you guys were completely wrong and I was completely right. Why am I saying that today? Is because Trevor Story is gonna be potentially out for the entire season this year. And I'm just gonna say this right now. This might be screwing up the rest of his career, honestly, because if he's going to have problems like this with his arm going forward, he might be turning into a DH right in front of our eyes. I'm just saying that right up front. And to the people who really thought that Bogaerts should not get the contract that he deserves because he's an average player, he's a defensive liability, he's only a singles hitter, he is injury prone. You know who's injury prone? The dude who you fell back on this year. Because you did not want to pay a homegrown talent in Xander Bogaerts. This is what you wanted? You wanted Bogaerts gone. You wanted him to walk. For Trevor Story to play shortstop for your team? Couldn't be my team. Couldn't be my team for sure. Anyways, we're reacting to this video. The breaking news of Trevor Story being out for the most 4 to 6 months. But according to Bloom, they're not banking on him being back this year. They're not banking on it. You know the term that is called expect disappointment and you'll never be disappointed?
If you expect disappointment, then you can never really get disappointed.
That's the Red Sox right now. That is their mindset right now. And going back to my original prediction, I know in the last podcast I gave them 70 wins, but I'm going back to my original one, 65 and 97. Going back to that, I'm locking that in. That is a given because there is nothing the Red Sox can do to fix this. For this year at least, they have nothing they can do. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe now if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go check out our website. Links in the description down below. And without further ado, let's hop straight into this video.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. Just a heads up, we are going to be live on this channel tomorrow night, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about everything Red Sox related, and boy, now do we have a lot to talk about. Again, that is tomorrow night, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. Anyways, this is our second video today. The first video I put out was about Carlos Correa and possibly a Red Sox signing, something like that.
Stop it. Get some help.
There's no way he just said that with a straight face. There's no way he just said that with a straight face. See? People like this is what's wrong with the front office staff. They just expect you to spend. They expect them to be the same as they always are, but in reality, that front office staff does not give a single shit about their fans. They don't care. They are about getting the money for their tickets, their merchandise, and all that, and that is it. They don't give a shit about you guys and what you guys want, and the Red Sox team winning right now, they don't care. They do not care. Why? Because they're raising the prices on your tickets, and they are becoming the worst team in the MLB by the minute. They are getting worse and worse and worse by the day. So, I can't believe people really thought that the Red Sox were going to get Carlos Correa. They wouldn't keep Bogaerts. Why do you think they would get Carlos Correa? I've been seeing that too. Red Sox Twitter has been absolutely hilarious this offseason. I'll give them that. They've been funny this entire offseason.
Targeting of Carlos Correa. 2 hours later, Carlos Correa gets signed. Now, this video is not a happy video. In fact, it is a very, very not happy video. I don't even know what to describe this as, because in 2022, the main theme of the Boston Red Sox was untimely injuries. And I thought going into 2023, that problem was behind us, but it appears that it is already affecting the 2023 Boston Red Sox, because it was announced today that Trevor Story was going to miss a significant amount of time due to a surgery that he just had. So what we are going to do today is we are going to break down what Trevor...
All I'm going to say is, who said from the beginning of this signing with Trevor Story that he was injury prone? Who said it? Who said that they did not like this signing from the beginning? Who said it? Who said it? You guys liked it. Me, however, on the other hand, you can go back and look at the clips.
Trevor Story's injury was, how it's going to affect his game, when we can expect him back, and we're going to talk about how this is going to affect the Red Sox off-season plans, as well as the Red Sox 2023
what plans do they have left?
But before I get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton and would mean
I'll give you
a
that.
lot to
I like
me.
your content.
Thank you all very much for clicking on this one.
Subscribed.
Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start by talking about what the actual surgery Trevor Story had was and what timetable it may be before he comes back.
The
actual surgery itself was a UCL surgery where you're essentially putting a brace around the UCL. It's basically sort of a modified Tommy John surgery. According to Jeff Passan, it is a surgery where instead of taking the ligaments out of your elbow and replacing it with entirely new ligaments, you're essentially putting a brace around that UCL to prevent further tearing. It is a much shorter time to come back than an actual Tommy John surgery, which is normally almost an entire MLB season, right? Especially if you get in the off season. A UCL tear, you're probably back June, July, August, somewhere around there at the...
Oh my God. I'm going to say this right now. If he's not back by August, just sit him for the remainder of the season. Because at that point, it's not going to be worth it. They'll already be out of contention for the playoffs, pretty much. Mathematically, they'll still be in it, but in reality, they will already be out of the playoffs. There will be no point to bring him back. If he's not back by August, there'll be no point. At that point, you're just going to have to sit him for the whole entire year.
The best case scenario, this one's a little bit different. It is 4 to 6 months. So I guess what I'm saying here is that if there's anything positive to take away from this Trevor Story surgery, it's the fact that, hey, it's not Tommy John surgery, so it's going to be a little less time he's going to spend on the DL because of that reason. Now, if we're looking at the timetable that I just spoke, 4 to 6 months, which is what most people are saying is the timetable for an injury like this, you probably are going to take the average of those months, which would be about 5 months, meaning that most realistically, we are probably going to see Trevor Story make a return mid-May, right? Now, that's the average. So on average, he's probably going to miss about a month and a half to 2 months of this MLB season. Best case scenario here is that it's only 4 months of recovery time, and Trevor Story only misses a couple weeks to a month of the MLB season. And the worst case scenario, and God help us if it's the worst case scenario, he does not come back until mid to late June, and he misses at minimum 2.5 months of this Red Sox season. Now,
and I have said at the beginning of this video, as I'm recording this, Bloom has been on a press conference right now with the Red Sox press conference and all them, the press, whatever, and apparently they're not banking on him being back in 2023. So right now they are preparing for the worst. And the fact that they're not even thinking about him being back this coming season should say a lot in what they expect from him going forward. And I said it in the last podcast especially. Chris Sale 2.0, but in a different position. That's what you got right now with Trevor Story. And it's gonna be a bad look. Bad look. Again, this all goes back to the Xander Bogaerts negotiations. How do you not keep him? How? How do you not keep that guy? You know what I mean? He's never hurt, and if he is hurt, He'll do whatever it takes to stay on the field to help his team win. He might not have the same production as he normally does, but he'll have somewhat of an impact that will help his team win. How don't you pay a guy like that what he's worth? I have no idea how you don't do that. And to the people who were saying that he's not worth the money, like I said, 11 years, yeah, that's probably a stretch for Bogaerts, I'm not going to lie. But 8 years, 230, how do you not get that done? How don't you get that done? That should have been your first offer right out of the gate. And then you work from there. Then maybe I would have been like, okay, we'll give you 9 at 250. That would have been my next offer. But an absolute failure of an offseason for the Boston Red Sox and their future. And their future. I will add on to that also.
Now, my biggest question with this whole thing is how long did the Red Sox know about his injury? Because this is not something that just springs up out of the ground.
Apparently, they knew about this before Christmas.
Complete surprise to everybody, right? There's a process that goes into getting to a surgery. You have to get your initial consultation with a doctor who tells you what's wrong and then refers you to a surgeon. That surgeon's got to give you a consultation, tell you what he's going to do.
Hold on, one more time. I got to pause. I do apologize for that, but I do have to go to a tweet from Buster Only of ESPN. He did tweet this out, and I said to myself, that's why they got him so cheap compared to what all the other shortstops from last offseason were going for. I was like, that's why. Buster Only tweeted, some teams passed on Trevor Story in the spring of 2022 because they knew he inevitably would require major elbow surgery. How do you miss that on his report? How do you miss that? When you're going to give a guy a contract like that, how do you miss something like that if you're the Boston Red Sox? How? How do you miss that? It's your job to stay intact of those things and to do your background knowledge of stuff like that. Was it because they didn't want to pay Bogaerts what he was going to get in free agency? I don't know what it was about, to be completely honest with you. But at the end of the day, they are just a joke of a front office staff over there. And you watching this video, if you're a Red Sox fan somehow still today, you should not be supporting this team. Go support Bogaerts in San Diego. Go support Mookie Betts in LA. Go support JD in LA. Go support Benintendi in the Chicago White Sox. Go support Christian Vasquez in Minnesota, because they did that guy wrong too. The front office is lying to you. They say they want to win now. They're trying to convince you they're a winning team right now. But in reality, this is what they're doing. They're rebuilding. And that's not right to you fans. You guys expect them to do big things and all that. They said to you that they were going to be a much better team than in 2022. And they lied to you. They lied. And not only did they lie, they ripped the heart and soul out of our team. They kept Devers, but too late. Everybody else is gone. Too late at that point.
Then you have to schedule the surgery, and then you have to finally get the surgery. There's no way in that time frame that the Boston Red Sox were not notified at all. And so my question is, how long have they known this information? Because this is something that makes the Bogaerts situation look way worse, right? You lost Bogaerts, and now you're losing Trevor Story for a significant amount of time. At best case scenario, a month and a half here, and you still let Xander Bogaerts walk. I have to completely question that decision, because that makes absolutely no sense.
It made zero sense even before this
injury. Why are you letting Bogaerts go? Why were you not more proactive in the shortstop market? But
injury from Trevor
I guess
Story
we'll never know the answer to that question. I highly doubt the Red Sox are going to publicly say how aware of this injury they were. But either way, as for the injury itself, again, it is a UCL, essentially a brace put into his arm so it does not tear further, and we could probably expect Trevor Story out for 5-6 months. Now again, that's not in the regular season. We're probably
people were seeing that his numbers were starting to get progressively worse in terms of his throwing from shortstop to first base, and teams were alarmed by it. Not the Red Sox for some reason. They were like, hey, you know what? Nobody wants you, then fine. We'll take you. Whatever, it is what it is. We'll take the flyer on you, and we'll take the gamble. And then if Bogaerts leaves, well, at least we got you to fall back on. Guess what? Congratulations. You played yourself. That dude's got something wrong with his heel, his hand, his elbow. I don't know, man. I'm lost with this team. I am lost with where they stand as a franchise right now.
Looking at best case scenario here, a couple of weeks to a couple of months with no Trevor Story on this Red Sox team. So how does this affect this Red Sox team? What does this mean for this Red Sox off season? Well, I'll tell you what, it's not good. It does not affect the Red Sox in a good way, in any way at all, really. Like I said in the intro, I truly thought that, hey, we couldn't get much more injury prone than 2022, right? Everyone spent time on the IL. I felt like we were playing with AA players at one point, but going into 2023, I had high hopes that that was.
So before I go any further in this video, this is the last time I am pausing it. The rest of the way, I'm not pausing it. So what do I think happens? Christian Arroyo's obviously going to second. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Christian Arroyo is going to be your everyday second baseman. I've heard talks of maybe Kike Hernandez moving back into the infield. But then at that point, what do you do for your center fielder? Like, where do you go from this? This is bad. They really fell back on a dude who was injury prone compared to somebody who doesn't miss many games, who is a top 5 shortstop in the league, and knows how to play in your city, and knows the identity of that ball club. I don't get how you let that guy go.
Is not going to happen, and so far not looking good. There are a couple of options for the Red Sox here on the table, and
we can
all
go
of
back
these have
and
now
get Jose
become imperative
Iglesias.
because you lost Xander Bogaerts, your shortstop, and the idea was, hey, you lose Xander, that sucks, we all hate it, but we do have a replacement if need be in Trevor Story. Now,
and if you sorry, one more time, because this is the point that makes me angry. If you guys thought that that was an okay plan, if that was to happen, if Bogaerts was to leave, if you guys thought that that was an okay plan, in terms of your knowledge of this team, your head's just not there. Not there at all. If you thought that it was if Bogaerts left, it was an okay thing because Trevor Story was our backup plan, if you thought that was okay, in terms of your knowledge of the Red Sox, and in baseball, your head's just not straight.
now you don't have Trevor Story at all, which means you don't have a second baseman, you don't have a shortstop, you have no middle infielders on this team, at least with guys
This team
who
right
can
now
play
should be
every single
Xander
day.
Bogaerts,
So
Rafael
how does this
Devers,
affect the
and
Red
then you
Sox
build around
offseason?
those
It
two
makes
people.
getting a middle infielder pretty much top priority at this point. We would love to get a
should be where
starting
you stand
pitcher.
right now.
You need a full
You should
team
only
on
need
the
a second
field, and if you
baseman.
don't have a shortstop or a second baseman, that makes it pretty hard to do. I'm not very good at math, but I know missing 2 full positions on the field is not a good way to field a team. There are a couple of options to fill this second base shortstop position. The first is you either have Christian Arroyo play second or
That's a
shortstop, and you
guarantee.
have either
That's a
a
guarantee
free
going
agent
to
signing
happen.
play shortstop or second base or whatever, or you go out and you trade for a
Have him play
second
in center
baseman
field.
or a shortstop, right? But the problem with that is that you're going to probably need a real high impact either shortstop or second baseman
Marcelo
to
Mayer,
make
you're
up
up.
the difference of
You ready?
A, not having a legitimate shortstop in Xander Bogaerts, or
I'm going to cross sports here. Marcelo Mayer is about to be in the same situation as Mac Jones is. How about that? Poor kid. Poor kid.
B, not having that thump and that speed and that defensive ability that you had in Trevor's Story. So it's going to have to be a significant shortstop or second base addition, which is probably not coming via the free agent market. So you're going to have to look at trades. And now teams know you are in a bad spot. So not
but how much are you going to have to give up to get that? You're going to have to give up quite a bit.
Sort of patch this up internally.
And in terms of your team right now, I would not be doing that.
The Trevor Story rehabilitation, right? Having him come back at 4 months or even 4.5 months as opposed to that 5.5, 6 months. And in the meantime, you have Kike Hernandez play shortstop or second base. You have Arroyo fill that other hole. And then you either bring up Duran to start in center field or Cedane Rafaela to play in center field. I think Cedane Rafael is a little ways off of being a legitimate MLB-ready player, but you're going to need the defense somewhere, and Jarren Duran's not going to give you the defense, so it's really a toss-up there, and that's not exactly the most fantastic scenario either. Either way, all I'm trying to say here is the Red Sox are kind of screwed. I understand that this is not for a full season, and you will end up playing in 2023. My biggest problem with this is the Red Sox got off to a really bad start in 2022. They got really hot, and then they tapered off a little bit, right? If they had been hot to start the year, we were probably talking about, at the bare minimum, a winning ball club. We can't go into 2023 again, having another month and a half where we're, under 500 by 4.
Good luck. Get ready. Get ready. It's coming. You thought last year was worse? Oh man, you're about to get that hat's about to come off on your head. 65-97. I'm telling you right now, that is where you stand right now. Especially without Trevor Story too. That's where you stand. With Trevor Story, you were going to finish 70-92. Without him, 65-97. Book it. And, I wouldn't be opposed to this. What if the Red Sox are dead out of it by the time the trade deadline comes around, and you trade Rafael Devers for a boatload of prospects because he don't have a no-trade clause? What if that happens? What if that happens?
4, 5, 6 games. It's such a hard hole in this division to climb out of, and to have Trevor Story, who was probably going to be your second best player, go down with an injury right now is absolutely worst case scenario, especially with the fact that you do not have a shortstop or a second baseman right now. At the end of the day, is it the end of the world?
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes.
Right?
For the Red Sox right now,
him back at some point, but man, these holes on this Red Sox team in the middle of our infield are just gigantic right now, and the only ways to fill them and fill them appropriately is via the trade market, and every team in baseball now knows that you need both a shortstop and a second baseman. At the bare minimum,
really
you
overpay
need
to get
one
of those guys.
So that's the biggest takeaway in my opinion. Obviously, I hope Trevor Story gets better and has a smooth recovery. That sucks. I'm sure this 100%. Guy wanted to come out here after having a little bit of a rough year in 2022 and really show Fenway and MLB and really everyone that he can play at the level that he knows he can play at. So for him to go down again must really, really suck. So the human part of me, hey,
except in a different
Trevor
position.
Story, get better soon, man. This just really, really hurts, and it's not a great way to start the 2023
Bad look
season.
for the Red Sox.
Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of all this?
I think the front office suck. I think they blow. I think they are dumb. I think they are stupid. I think they have no clue what they are doing, and I don't think they give a shit about you guys. That's what I think. In terms of Trevor Story, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. You got your original position back. You were getting ready to have that position again. And in terms of another setback, must be really killing him right now. Same thing with Chris Sale. Chris Sale was once one of the best pitchers in the entire MLB. For him to know that he's not the same guy anymore, must kill him. Must absolutely kill him. But in terms of the front office staff, karma. Karma. I think Matt McCarthy from 98.5 The Sports Hub made this tweet too. The Red Sox offered Trevor Story $50 million more than they did Xander Bogaerts last spring. Never forget, never forgive. Bingo. Bingo. And Xander Bogaerts is a much better player than Trevor Story is. Not defensively, obviously. But in terms of offensively, I'll even give him this. Defensively, he progresses every single year. And I don't understand the notion of like, oh, he's a defensive liability. Really? He is? He's not as bad as people say he is. He's a top 5 shortstop in the league, and you decided to let him walk because you had Trevor Story in the backhand. And now look what happens. Trevor Story goes down with yet another injury. There's something always wrong with that guy since he's gotten here, and you relied on him. Karma at the end of the day. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoy these videos. Subscribe now if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go check out our website. Links in the description down below. Go check out the Red Seat. His link will be in the description down below as well. It's been your boy Jesse, and let's go Padres. Later, guys.